Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's free agency week. I got my man Ted with me as we do every Monday now. This is like normal. I'm getting used to this. Ted on Monday. 49ers made some moves. They lost some players. Before we get into it, what's up, Ted? How you feeling, man?
Bound to lose Eric Armstead, but happy to have Leonard Floyd. So it's kind of exciting. We got an edge rusher, and we can talk about that more here as we get into the show.
We definitely will. What's up to all the people in the chat? Shout out to the Niner fans out there who've been waiting patiently, refreshing their phone, checking our pages all day. Like, I know Niner fans have been like sitting there like, Raj, what are we going to? People have been getting impatient. That's how it always happens. And I said that the 49ers, I was live earlier on my Instagram. I said the 49ers are slow cooker. They like to go put stuff in a crock pot. It's like the crock pot cooker. They put things, they let it marinate. They don't just go right off the bat. Last year, I think we got a little bit, we're chasing that high off the Hargrave signing last year. You know what I mean? Because that was such a big signing. It's like, oh my God. And it was like pretty close after the legal tampering period opened. But the 49ers, they do things typically a little slow. Again, we'll talk about all that stuff. Someone in the chat, Debbie says, I went to take a nap and they went and made this happen. I said that. I said, if I ever say I'm going to take a nap, Ted, the Niners make move. And I was live on Instagram. I said, I think I'm going to go take a nap. I swear, right when we were about to start our show, that's when the news dropped, like at 2 o'clock. And I was like, I just need to tell them, I just need to say I'm going to take a nap more often. But first move of free agency really was last night. It was Arik Armstead decided that he wants to become a free agent. They approached him and says, they wanted him to take like a big drop in pay, in pay salary. They wanted to take a pay cut, basically, restructure his deal. He didn't like that. I don't know how much they wanted him to cut, but he said, forget it, release me. He was the longest tenure Niner. How do you feel about losing Arik Armstead?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big loss. I mean, he's a good player, really good against the run, decent pass rusher, big-time leader in the locker room, big-time leader in his hometown community of Sacramento here in Northern California. But at the same time, $28 million cap hit this year, pretty ginormous. And so hopefully they did it with a post-June 1st designation so that we get about $17 million of that back, which would be nice.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody's reporting, that they're going to make the cut a post-June 1st designation. So there's more money for the 49ers to use down the line. And it gives, Armstead, who's a veteran, the leader of the clubhouse, a nice gesture. They respect him and said, all right, go find a team. Now, my thing is, do you even think he's going to find a team that's going to pay him more money than what the 49ers would have? Again, we don't know exactly the numbers, but it's interesting. Okay, he wants to test the market. He's coming off of 2 years where he had plantar fasciitis, and he just had knee surgery. It's unfortunate. I hate to say that stuff about a player, but when you're going into free agency and you got injuries like that, it's not definitely good. Someone earlier on my Instagram said maybe he's going to just retire. Who knows? He's got a lot of injuries. Now, I think there's a bevy of teams that would sign him. Houston, New York Jets, they're so familiar with them. There's a lot of teams. The Eagles maybe because, they lost Fletcher Cox. But it's interesting. It is definitely interesting. Armstead takes this loss. I mean, 49ers are all he knows. Maybe he just wants a fresh start. They've changed defensive coordinators. But, yeah, it's definitely interesting to me. Armstead is gone, and they need to plug that spot up. They got a lot of free agents. They don't have a lot of defensive linemen, as we know. That's one of the big issues for free agency. Hopefully the 49ers are addressing that. Who are they going to get to replace him? Who do you think? Who do you want?
Well, I mean, DJ Jones is the name that's been going around. He doesn't replace Armstead per se, but he also doesn't cost nearly as much either. So as a cost-conscious replacement, I could see that. But, yeah, I expect us to draft the defensive tackle in the draft.
Absolutely. I think so, too. I think they've been looking at a lot of defensive tackles during the combine. It was reported. I definitely think they're going to go after somebody here in the next couple of days. DJ Jones has been rumored all over the place. Definitely could see them going after that. I thought it was going to be Christian Wilkins. We talked about this behind the scene. That would have been the juicy big signing, but he got paid a lot of money out in Las Vegas. That man got a bag worth of tons of money. So shout out to him. I would have loved to see Christian Wilkins. I think that's the guy you wanted. That's the guy I wanted. But unfortunately, the price wasn't right. And, they're going to have to look for a middle tier type contract guy that's not going to cost over $20 million, maybe somewhere in the realm of like 7 to 10 million. That's where I'm thinking. That's probably where they wanted Armstead to go. Again, this is just me spitfiring. He was going to get paid 17 million. The Niners wanted him to take a drop from that. So my guess is probably going to pay a guy maybe 10 million. So we'll see. I think Kinlaw is a guy they might bring back on a 1 or 2 year deal. They like this guy. I know he had a lot of years of injuries, but they like Kinlaw, and he finally was healthy. I think this is a guy that's going to get more money and be able to stay with the Niners for a year or two. So I think that's one guy that I feel the 49ers will try to bring back. And they need depth. They get Kalia Davis. Maybe they bring back Kevin Gibbons. They're going to get some of those guys to be on their line. Now, there's interesting news right now that just came out. So it's Zadarius Smith. And this kind of leads me to the next guy we got to talk about. So Zadarius Smith just signed a big contract. And it's very similar to what Leonard Floyd got, who the 49ers were just able to sign recently. So let me pull up the details. Let me see. So Pro Bowl edge Zadarius Smith is going back to the Browns on a 2-year, $23.5 million base deal with up to $25 million. So it's pretty much the same deal that the 49ers got for Leonard Floyd. Brings me to the Leonard Floyd situation. The 49ers, first big move of the day, Leonard Floyd. What do you think about the 49ers signing Leonard Floyd?
I mean, I think it's great for $10 million a year. As I said backstage, he's no Danielle Hunter, and somehow we all got our hopes up that that's who we're getting. And I mean, I guess it doesn't preclude us from getting Danielle Hunter still. It's just when we cut Eric Armstead and freed up that money, and then we also restructured Fred Warner again last week before he had his baby this week. Congratulations, Fred, on the new arrival, on being a father. There's nothing like it. It got a lot of hopes up. So maybe we're not done. Maybe there will be a big splash still. Maybe we talked some about Joey Bosa. I'm not wild about that. I don't want him to be, if we do get him, I don't want him to be a big splash as far as contract wise, but maybe we could get him in that kind of, maybe a little bit more than Zadarius Smith, because we got 2 years, 20 for Floyd, 2 years, 23.5. So $1.5 million more a year for Zadarius Smith. Maybe we could get Joey for 2 years, 25 or something.
Maybe they could get him on a cheaper deal, because I wouldn't be opposed to it if they get him on a cheaper deal. I don't want to pay him too much, but again, maybe he'll take a hometown discount to play with his brother. His mom's out there on Instagram posting every time she gets, please make it. Mama Bosa wants it to happen. It'd be great for her, so she doesn't have to choose between which son she wants to go to on a game. It'd be easy and convenient for her. But honestly, I think if Bosa signs, it needs to be on a cheaper deal, because he does have a lot of injury concerns, and that's something the 49ers can't afford. They need guys that are going to be on the field and now off the field. And I think that was a big issue with Armstead. That's probably why the 49ers went and said, hey, look, we need you to take some money down, because we love you. You're a great player. You're well respected. But let's be honest, you've had a lot of injuries these last couple of years. You should take a pay cut.
And Leonard Floyd is the exact opposite. He hasn't missed a game, I believe, since 2018. So that's kind of coming up on Iron Man territory, really. And let's knock on wood, right? We don't want to jinx it. But that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And he's been very solid. He had 10.5 sacks last year, 45 pressures. Since 2022, he has, I think 18.5 sacks, 98 pressures total. I mean, the guy's a very solid player. I like Leonard Floyd. I know he's 31, but I think he still has a good year or two left in him on this D-line with the Niners. You got Hargrave, you got Bosa, you got Floyd now. They got some players. You got Robert Beasley, the youngster from last year who showed some promise. They got some guys on there. So I like Leonard Floyd, good veteran. He's hungry, man. He's been in the NFC West. He's played with Brandon Staley before, when he was the defensive coordinator for the Chargers. Brandon Staley's now the assistant head coach, so there's some familiarity there. I like the move. I mean, it definitely would have loved to get a splash guy. It's always nice. But the Niners usually get guys that fit their system, so I'm not too upset about it. I'm not even upset. I was happy about Leonard Floyd. I get it. He's a little older, but I like the move. And as you said, shout out to Fred Warner. Listen, this guy took a pay cut, or he restructured his contract, right, to save some cap space for the team. just became a father this weekend. He posted all his stuff on social media. This is crazy. He's in the middle of helping his wife, go through the delivering stage. You're a father, you know how it is. It's so busy. He still had the time to talk to the 49ers and say, okay, yeah, I'll restructure my contract for the better of the team. This man, Fred Warner, deserves a statue outside of Levi Stadium. I love that guy. God, man, that's great. What a guy.
Absolutely. I'm lockstep with you on that one.
Yeah, that was nice for that. Now, speaking of restructured contracts, last night it was reported by Adam Kaplan from Pro Football Network that, and this Nathan reminds me, says Kyle Juszczyk they asked him to go out there and also restructure his deal, take a pay cut for 2024 season. They haven't figured it out yet. They haven't met and decided an agreement, but that's another guy that the 49ers are looking to restructure and save some money. It's Kyle Juszczyk. What do you think? If they don't reach an agreement with Kyle Juszczyk, you think they give him the axe, give him the boot?
Hard to imagine, but I mean, I would have thought Eric Armstead even less. So if Armstead can go, I think everyone's got to be a little bit nervous. If you're a player, you can't feel too secure. And with Juice, it really comes down to, this kind of simple thing where a lot of people say he's overpaid. And I just said he's underutilized. I don't think there's anything wrong with what we pay him. I just don't think we use him enough, at least as an offensive weapon outside of his blocking. His blocking is huge. We don't really seem to have a replacement for him. Dwelly cannot block that way. He plays some as fullback, but he doesn't block the same way. So I have a hard time seeing it, but anything's possible now with the Armstead release.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like he's underutilized. And the thing about Kyle Juszczyk, it's not like he's your offensive weapon. I think people see him as he needs to be used in the passing game and the run. Like, he is a weapon. When he's used, it's like, oh wow, give him the ball more. He's so important in the blocking schemes. Like, when you don't have Kyle Juszczyk out there, you're missing an extra blocker. He's like an extra lineman. And you're right. Like, Dwelly's not a blocker. Kittle has to block all the time. And then Charlie Warner was a very good blocker. But guess what? Charlie Warner just got signed to the Atlanta Falcons today. His stocks are going up with Kirk Cousins over there. So honestly, yeah, that's a guy I don't think the Niners can utilize. Can miss. They need to be able to utilize him. Yeah, they need to have him on their team. So I hope that they don't get rid of him. But again, they are looking to restructure his contract. This was posted last night. And then earlier this morning, Eric Branch reported on it, and he's a 49ers reporter. So for people that were kind of thinking it's not true, I mean, Eric Branch is accredited 49ers reporter, and he reported it this morning. So he confirmed that. So we'll see what happens. And, last week, I believe we were talking about this. Mike Silver said there's a lot of, and I thought it was more of like a smoke report, but it looks like he was true, because he says there's a lot of tough decisions the 49ers have to make. And that's what it was. The 49ers had to reach out to their veterans. Armstead, he didn't like it. He gone. They reached out to Kyle Juszczyk reportedly, and Fred Warner. Fred Warner took the restructure. So there's maybe other players that they're looking into, and maybe they call Kittle. Maybe they go call Debo and say, hey, take less money. Because Brandon Ayuk, my man, my screensaver here, Brandon Ayuk, he needs his contract.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Warner, I tweeted out that it was a homecoming of sorts, because he went to University of Georgia. He was a Bulldog, and he blocked for three of their great running backs, DeAndre Swift and several others. I think Chubb, and I think one more of sort of a lot of really good NFL running backs. And then I guess it was not just a homecoming of sorts, because he was actually born in Georgia as well too. Yeah. He was born, I guess, in a little town. I must be little because it's called Tiger, Georgia. So I've never heard of it. So anyway, I guess it's just a full-on homecoming for Charlie Warner, going back to Georgia, back to the Falcons.
That's what I heard. I heard that too. He's going back. Georgia boy.
3 years, $12 million. That just seems a little rich when there's all these tight ends I'd rather have for like $1.5 million, $2 million a year, maybe $2.5 million. Yeah, I think maybe we could get one of them.
Honestly, Charlie Warner got paid a decent amount for not really. I mean, he's a blocking tight end. I mean, it's like basically an extra lineman out there that could catch every once in a while. He didn't really do much in the passing game. So, yeah, Charlie Warner, congrats to him. He got a bag, man. I love that for him. He did get a lot of money. And he goes home. Hometown boy. George.
Maybe now that Arthur Smith is gone, they'll actually run Bijan Robinson, and maybe Charlie Warner can help facilitate that. So I'd like to see that. I think he's got still a lot of potential.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I agree. Bryant Culp says, I want to sign DA, but we don't have his 5th year. Don't we have one more year? So we do have he's on his 5th year option. So it's like, that's why the 49ers, they know they got his 5th year. They got some time. They're going to wait till after free agency and figure it out once they restructure all these deals and stuff. So I don't think the 49ers are hard pressed to make the move right now, but I think they'll get it done. Now, speaking of BA, the 49ers did re-sign a BA, Brandon Allen, QB2 right now, as we go into the season. If the season starts today, Brandon Allen's our backup quarterback. And the other report is that, according to Deanna Rossini, the Vikings are looking to maybe sign Sam Darnold because they lost Kirk Cousins. What do you think? What do you think, my boy?
You know how much I love Sam Darnold. I'll be crying all day if the Vikings sign him. You can tell I'm just all shook up. I don't know how I'll ever go on, to be honest. No, Sam Darnold, don't let the door hit you. Brandon Allen, master stroke signing, because you start out, this crazy, legal tampering period with just the most boring, unexciting hiring you possibly could, and then that way, hey, Leonard Floyd, where we might not have been so excited because it's not Danielle Hunter, hey, it's a lot better than Brandon Allen. So, I think it was a brilliant move to announce that one first. And
I liked it.
Lower the expectations a little
lower
bit.
the expectations. I like it because then you won't be fuming and stuff. As Niner fans have been really upset today. You got to think in the Niner mindset, we lost the Super Bowl, right? So as a fan, you watch your team lose the Super Bowl in overtime. That's just gut-wrenching, feeling. We're still reeling off of that. You lose, and then boom, free agency comes, and it's you're not making a splash. And then, okay, you lose Armstead, and then you get Brandon Allen. People are so pissed off today. People were so mad. I saw the timeline. I was like, oh, it's bad. So I'm glad they signed Leonard Floyd. They needed to make a signing to kind of temper people down. But you're right. It's nice that they went and they kind of softened the blow, and then they went from there. Yeah.
No doubt about it. It's all about making sure that people are excited about what happens, and no better way to do that than to start out with Brandon Allen.
I know, I love it.
Anything but exciting. But I do think it's a smart signing, honestly.
No, I don't think he's a bad backup.
He knows the system, and he's a good QB3. That's fine.
I think so. Maybe he'll be QB2. Maybe they'll draft someone. But my thing is, my favorite part of this whole situation this offseason, I know a lot of people are upset right now this offseason because they haven't made a big sign. There's no quarterback drama this offseason, Ted. Literally, this is the first year we can sit here and comfortably say we don't have any quarterback drama. This is nice. We know our situation. Quarterback's the least of our problems. It's usually top of the pecking order. There's no drama with the quarterback position, and I absolutely love it. I love it.
I agree 100%. No ACL, no UCL, no,
My man, Mr. Sacra says, you're stupid. There's no softening Armstead's departures. You know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over losing Armstead. I love the guy. He needed to take a pay cut, and at the end of the day, if you're not, he can go. You can replace him with someone younger. I love Armstead. Great in the playoffs. He was a solid player in this locker room. 10-year vet coming off of meniscus surgery. Do you really think he was going to be an all-elite player next year? I just don't see it, man. I love the guy. Good guy. Walter Payton Man of the Year, perennial nominee. Good dude. They can get a better player that can actually play the full season. There's not a knock on him. Armstead has been great, man, but I think it was time. I'd be
more worried about the plantar fasciitis than the meniscus, because that's something that will never heal. It's chronic. It's always going to keep coming back. And so, the meniscus will more than likely heal, especially if he got that repair surgery. That seems to go well but he is a big guy too. So something that works on a little running back like Mostert, might not work so well on a 6'6", 6'7" defensive lineman. So
yeah, that's a brutal.
Pounder.
That was a brutal injury for a guy like him. The plantar fasciitis has been bugging him for 2 years. That's one. It might just keep on lingering. You don't know. So honestly, for the 49ers, best case was that he asked for his release. because I get it. It's going to be hard to replace a guy like Armstead. He's a really good player, but there are good defensive tackle. A defensive tackle, you can find him. I think DJ Jones is a guy they can bring in. They have Hargrave. He's not horrible. I think a lot of people hated Hargrave because they paid him a lot of money. He got injured towards the end of the year, but Hargrave was very solid for the most of the season. Towards the end, he did get banged up with the hamstring. But imagine you get Hargrave. Hopefully they get DJ Jones. They're gonna get somebody in that interior D line, and they draft very good in terms of that position. So I'm not 100% worried. Again, I love Armstead, but he played 6 games last year, so it's not like we're losing someone that had huge impact on the regular season. The 49ers made it to the playoffs with Armstead missing a majority of the season. So
DJ Reader is still available too, right? Or he didn't sign yet.
I don't think I saw his name pop up.
That's a pretty quality defensive tackle right there.
There's some good
players. Daquan Jones from the Bills, another one I like.
I like him. Marcus Davenport agreed to a deal with the Lions just as we've been talking. I don't know. I think the Niners so far are happy with the team they have. I mean, I don't think they need to get too many big players. But again, it's still early. Now, I think the 49ers are also waiting on what other teams are doing. Like I said, with the Chargers, maybe Khalil Mack, maybe Joey Bosa. DJ Jones is a guy that's been linked to them. They're expected to release him. So it's still early. This is Monday. This is day 1 of free agency day. And honestly, today's the legal tampering period. So free agency doesn't even start till Wednesday. So we might not even see some moves until Wednesday. So this is very early. The Niners are very early in this situation. I think we have to be patient. And again, I think John Lynch is slow cooking. He's got the food marinating in the crock pot, Ted. And when it's ready, he'll pull it out and he'll serve that stew to us.
When it's falling off the bone, nice and tender.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Speaking of the Lions, I had a tweet today about them because I saw that they signed Graham Glasgow, their all-pro right guard, to a 3-year, $20 million deal. And I had to put it up there vis-a-vis Colton McKivitz. And I said, Niners signed Colton McKivitz, barely passable starting, tackle, for $7 million a year extension. It was just 1 year, but still, I did say $7 million for 1 year.
Yeah.
Lions signed all-pro right guard Glasgow for under $7 million a year for a 3-year contract. I was like, big win for the Lions. So
yeah.
I think if Davenport is still a really good, run stuffing defensive end, that's probably another good signing for the Lions.
Yeah. They Lions are making moves. A lot of teams are getting better. Like Green Bay made some big moves today. Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney. Teams are making moves, but I feel like 49ers are still they're still the defending NFC championship. So champions. So a lot of the teams are trying to catch the Niners. So that's where I feel like the Niners mindset is. I still think they're like, okay, we made it to the NFC championship, or sorry, the Super Bowl. They're the NFC champions. So they still feel very good about how this team is constructed. There's some players that had to go and they're going to replace, et cetera, which I feel like they'll bring some players back and get some other guys. But in the end, the Niners feel like they're able to keep this team and run it back because other teams are chasing the Niners. The Packers, they were good. They weren't good enough to beat the Niners, so they're loading up. Good young team, and they should. Lions get some extra talent. The Eagles today, they lost some players. They lost Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, but they added some big-time players. They got a new running back, Saquon Barkley. You lose DeAndre Swift. They loaded up here and there. So these teams, they've lost players. They brought some players back.
Huff from the Jets, too, the defensive
that was
end.
big, yeah.
That's a big one. Speaking of the Packers, yeah, I had a tweet about them, and they made me look pretty silly fairly quickly there. Because immediately when I saw they got Josh Jacobs, I'm thinking Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, best backfield in the NFL. And I'm not the only one. I think Andy Agar got caught in it too. And maybe even Kurt Bankert, who I've been following quite a bit, who's, he was like, wow. Packers backup QB, ex-Niners backup QB. He's pretty good on the streaming stuff. So I like him a lot. But then, instantly they're like, and we're releasing Aaron Jones. So they got younger at running back, but I don't know that they got better. I mean, I feel like Aaron Jones, he's right there up there with, CMC and maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, for the Lions. Those are three of the best, until Chubb proves that he's really back from that knee injury. Maybe the top sort of 3 running backs in the NFL right now.
Aaron Jones is phenomenal. He was slashing and dashing against the Niners, but especially
when it comes to receiving, which is what really sets running backs apart these days.
Yeah, he's a very good receiving back. And again, a little bit surprising that they went that route and got rid of Aaron Jones. And they went for Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a phenomenal running back. No disrespect on him, but he's a different style. He's a bruiser, compared to Aaron Jones. He's a little bit more shimmy and catch the ball. But Aaron Jones is great. I did too. I was like, oh wow, Jones and Jacobs. That's going to be a deadly duo. But at the end of the day, they went with the younger Jacobs. He's a fantastic running back. But running back, just not valued. I just don't think they would have been able to get both of those guys the ball. And coming from, the Raiders, Jacobs was a guy that was pissed off about how he was being used and all this. So I'm pretty sure that when they spoke to Jacobs, that was probably part of his situation. That, hey, if you're going to take me, I need to make sure that I'm the guy, But wherever Aaron Jones goes, I'm sure he'll do good. I predict he'll go to the Cowboys because they lost Tony Pollard. So we'll see how it goes.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Oh, we got to trade.
I don't want the Cowboys.
I don't either. We got to.
He's
trade
a lot better
here,
than Pollard.
We got to trade here, Ted. I got all my updates and stuff. We're doing this.
All
so
right. Hit me with it.
Hold on, it's just coming like crazy. So, breaking news: the cornerback, Carlton Davis, is going to be traded to the Lions. The Buccaneers are trading Carlton Davis to the Lions, according to Tom Pelissero. Wow. Just every second there's a move, there's a trade, there's a signing. It is a great time of the year when you're talking about NFL, man. I love free agency week, dude. Carlton Davis to the Lions. Woo. There you go.
Yeah, it's a good corner for sure. They also re-signed Emmanuel Mosley last week as well too, which I thought was a classy move for a guy coming off 2 ACLs on one leg. There's no proof he'll ever be the same again. So
it's unfortunate for him. He's kind of like Jason Verrett. It's unfortunate. He's so
OBJ
talented.
too had that too. 2 ACLs, same knee.
Yeah, he's so talented. The guy's so talented, but he can never shake those major injuries. And it's like Jason Verrett was the same. Like he flashed, he showed Pro Bowl potential. He was a Pro Bowler one year, and then just could never stay healthy. And Emmanuel Mosley, when he was with the Niners, every year I was like, oh, this guy's so good. Oh, he's so good. And he'd always have like a hamstring, and then he had that ACL tear. And just that guy cannot stay healthy. But he is a very talented cornerback. I wish he would have been able to stay healthy, but he just reminds me a lot of like Jason Verrett. So much potential, but man, these guys, some guys just, it's unfortunate,
No doubt about it.
Speaking of quarterback, Ted,
not surprised the Niners linked to some safeties, which is interesting for sure.
Yeah, I was just bringing that up. So earlier this morning, safety Rayshon Jenkins, formerly of the Jaguars, he met with the Seahawks, and he's supposed to meet with the Niners this week. Niners definitely do need somebody in that secondary. You need depth. You need a nickel. You got to remember Tayshaun Gibson. He's a free agent, could be retiring. You got Talanoa Hufanga, who's coming off an ACL tear. And then the rookie, Jair Brown, who's going to be in his second year now. He's not a rookie anymore. That's your guy right now that's pretty healthy, and he's the starter, but he hasn't played a full season. So they absolutely need depth at safety. They'll probably have George Odom on the team also. They'll probably bring him back. He's a safety, but he's also a special team extraordinaire. But other than that, they need depth. They need a nickel corner. They need the safety. So what do you think? Rayshon Jenkins, should the Niners go and make him sign him?
Honestly, I wasn't too impressed by that name, but I mean, I think there's other free agent safeties I'd like better, but they also might be a lot more expensive. So
yeah,
that's always the thing. It's like, how good are they versus how affordable are they? I mean, for me, obviously Xavier McKinney was the big splash signing. But like there's still some really big names out there. I mean, for me, I personally would love Budda Baker because he's that speedy, rangy free safety. He's only 28, but compared to, Justin Simmons is 30, Quandre Diggs is 31. I don't like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as a person, but there's also Poyer's out there. And I think Micah Hyde got released. But Poyer's 32. I think Micah Hyde is not. Oh,
I like Poyer.
Micah Hyde 33.
I like Poyer, but yeah, he's older. But the thing is, I remember when the 49ers got Tayshaun Gibson, nobody thought it was going to be that big of a move. Roster depth, whatever. He turned out to be a very solid player. But, he is probably at that age where you're like, okay, he's towards the end of it. But that's kind of where Poyer is. So is he still good enough to go and give the Niners, contributing minutes, or is he going to be a backup? But the thing is, with Hufanga, like, I want him to start. I think he should. I think he will. But how effective is he going to be coming off that ACL tear? Like, how much is he going to, be effective early in the season? It might take him a little time to get back to where he was. So you need depth in the early part of the season. So they need to make sure they get a guy that can come in and play right away and give him some good minutes and not be injury risk himself. So maybe you're right. Go for a younger guy. There's a lot of safeties on the market, but I wasn't like thrilled with the Rayshon Jenkins move, but I wasn't upset. I thought he's a solid player. He's not horrible. So if they go and
kind of like Leonard Floyd, right?
Yeah, it's a Leonard Floyd signing. So if they get him, I'm not going to be like, oh man. I'll be like, okay, that's cool. It's good depth. Not bad.
I really want Buda Baker just because I don't know, I just like him. He's fast. I really think we need a rangy free safety. And also, with Hufanga, let's face it, he wasn't really a burner even before the ACL.
Oh, boom. 49ers just got Juwan Jennings back, ladies and gentlemen. Juwan Jennings is back, ladies and oh, we are there. We go. We got it. Hold up.
Now, how much?
Hold up.
That's always the thing.
Hold up. We got it.
1 year.
Whoa, we got it. Oh, we got Juwan Jennings.
3rd and Juwan, baby.
Holy shit. We are breaking news at the moment as we speak. Juwan Jennings.
Juwan, nearly Super Bowl MVP, Juwan Jennings.
Yes, sir. Oh, where's my post for it? Oh, shit. Hold up. Well, that's I got to create it.
All queued up.
I had it, but I got to recreate it.
All right, take care. Do what you got to do. We all understand that you have a obligation to the public.
Yes, sir.
To get that breaking news out there, and not just on Twitter X, but Instagram and all the different platforms.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a guess, everybody, at how much Juwan's 1 year deal is going to be for. I'm going to say, $7 million.
Well, I don't know.
He was restricted though, right? So I guess that means,
yeah. Hold on, here we go. Sorry.
Then it'll be whatever that is. It'll be like 3.5 or 4, right?
Shit. Give me a second.
Do what you got to do.
Because they didn't release the numbers, and now they did. First, a second round level. He got a second round tender.
I think that's like 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, I think. Let me see.
7 might have been a little too rich. Here we go. 4.89.
Okay.
4.5 or 5. That's pretty good. There you go.
Second round tender.
Akash has it.
Okay, that's
4.89 based on the tender.
He's back, baby. He's back, baby. 3rd and Juwan, baby.
That's a good deal.
Woo!
It's a very
Juwan
good deal.
Jennings is back, baby. Juwan Jennings.
That's huge. You couldn't lose Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings in the same offseason. That would be
yes, sir.
That would be
We did it.
catastrophic.
We got to post this on all platforms here. Crazy.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
Man, what do you guys think? Juwan Jennings is back. Woo!
Now we just need Debo to take a little pay cut.
We good. 3rd and Juwan, baby. He is back. Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm hyped. That was a good move. That's a good signing. I love it.
Absolutely. Huge.
Yee! Let's go. I love it. I like it. Second round level. So that means they can match any other team's offer to him. If they don't, he'll be compensated with a second round pick. So that's what it means. So the 49ers have tendered restricted free agent Juwan Jennings at the second round level. It means they can match any team's offer. And if they don't, they get a second round pick. Woohoo! So that's a $4.8 million signing, according to the reports, like you said. Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised to see another team come in and try and sweeten the pot a little bit. Try
Yeah.
and up the ante, not sweeten the pot. And then if you juxtapose that, Raj, with something like Kendrick Bourne signing yesterday,
Yeah.
3 years, 33
$33
mil.
million.
And I'd rather have Juwan Jennings than Kendrick Bourne, let's be honest. Not a lot. I mean, I think they're pretty close.
No
I think
disrespect
Juwan's a
to
little
KB.
tougher.
I love KB, but he's coming off a torn ACL. That man, this is what's crazy. He got 3 years, $33 million coming off a torn ACL. Like, he was having a good year, but that's a lot of money. That's why I'm saying, like, the running back market is so disrespected that they don't even get that. That's crazy money for a guy that's a wide receiver 3 coming off a torn ACL, Ted.
Yeah.
Outlandish. Crazy.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. Wow. We just had a breaking news moment here. You love to see it. That's why I love free agency. We got tendered Juwan Jennings, second round level. That is dope news. Let's go, man. Let's go. Dolphins and cornerback Jalen Ramsey agreed to a contract conversion. What's going on? Let's see. Dolphins lost a lot of talent, man.
Yeah, somebody tweeted that out, and I saved it. Oh, it was Ari Myrov.
Yeah.
Tweeted it out. It was Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, Robert Hunt, guard, Xavier Howard's corner, Andrew Van Ginkel, linebacker, safety Brandon Jones, linebacker Jerome Baker, linebacker Emmanuel Ogba, and cornerback Keon Crossan.
Mm-hmm.
They got gutted.
They did. They got destroyed, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Well, we'll see what happens with Jennings. So they give him that second-year tender. He has to officially sign it. Everything has to go through. So it's not like he's officially back. But they offered him the tender. And that's what they want. If he goes to another team, they get a second-round pick. We'll see. It's not officially back, but that's the value. That's a good value to put on Juwan Jennings. Can you imagine? I don't want to say that he's going to imagine if he goes to a team and they give him 3 years, $33 million, right? If he gets a contract like that somewhere, he'd be crazy not to take it. 49ers would get a second-round pick. This guy used to be he was a seventh-round pick, Ted. A seventh-round pick. And they're turning him into a second-round pick potentially.
That was the same draft as Colton McKivitz in the 5th and Charlie Warner in the 6th.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh.
7th-round pick who could potentially become a second-round pick. But basically that tells me, is anybody going to give up a second-round pick to get Juwan Jennings?
No.
So the Niners are going to keep
Not in a draft that's just ripe full of wide receivers.
Yeah, the Niners are going to keep Juwan Jennings because of the fact I don't think anybody's giving up a second-round pick for Juwan Jennings. If you want to give the Niners a second-round pick, you're going to want Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. I mean, and probably they'd even give a first round maybe for him. But yeah,
so
absolutely.
So basically to translate the tender, ladies and gentlemen, the 49ers damn well want Juwan Jennings on this team. That's what that tells me. They ain't losing JJ, baby. Let's go. That was exciting when I saw that too. I was like, okay. There we go.
They committed to pay him more this year to make sure that if somebody else wants to, we get a real good draft pick back.
Absolutely. We get a good draft pick back. Yeah, if you want him.
Because a third round tender is only like $1.5 million or $2 million salary or something like that. So
yeah, I agree. Cosmo agrees. Says, yeah, no team will give up a second for JJ. Love the player, but I don't think they're going to give up a second rounder. Former 7th round pick, though. My man Julia says, "What, in your opinion, what's the more exciting time of the season? NFL free agency or NFL draft?" I mean, it depends. If you're big on the draft, I think you love to see your draft crushes go. I used to be like so big on the draft. I don't sit there and scout like I don't like watch all the stuff as much as I used to. So honestly, for me, it's free agency. I love like this. This is dope. Seeing like, oh my god, who's getting who's getting it. I like free agency.
Plus, you know what's what in free agency. In the draft, it's just like roll the bones, baby. Let's see.
It's a crap.
If you're good, you're gonna hit 50% of the time. You know.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Plus, like, I mean, I haven't gotten as into scouting since way back since we, drafted Trey Lance, right? That draft where we all kind of knew we were going to draft a QB early. And I spent a lot of time scouting all those QBs, the top 5 QBs. And it just seems like you can spend all this time, you can figure out who the best folks are, and most of the time the Niners aren't going to pick them anyway. So a lot of times it's just a recipe for heartbreak when you spend too much time scouting the draft, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Because you're right. You don't really know at the end of the day. Like you're just shooting dominoes and stuff, and you're just shooting dice, and you don't know if your guys can get. And you could be sitting there scouting and then your guy turns out to be a bust. Like you're right. That draft, I remember. So I mean, I was sitting there spending so much time looking at quarterback, Justin Fields at 3, and Niners go and get Trey Lance, and then it ended up being a debacle. And that whole draft class. Let's talk about that draft class.
Yeah, because there's
Mac Jones got traded. Zach Wilson's probably gonna get traded. Justin Fields, they're gonna try to trade him. Trevor Lawrence is the only guy starting, but is he really living up to the number 1 draft pick status? I wouldn't say
not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. There's trouble down there as well too. No, that was a meme somebody posted up. I thought I bookmarked it, but I guess I didn't. Somebody posted up on Twitter and X was like, next time you think about trading up for a quarterback, and he just showed those top 5 guys from the 2021 draft class. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence number 1, Zach Wilson number 2, Trey Lance at number 3 overall, and then Justin Fields was like 11, I think, to the Bears, 10 or 11, and then obviously Mac Jones 15 to the Patriots. So
yeah,
it's wild. It's wild that really none of them has lived up to a first round draft.
Not at all. That draft it's one of the most polarizing drafts. Interesting note. I know we're switching gears here. You mentioned this earlier, Ted, about Leonard Floyd, about his durability. I just saw a tweet. I think Lombardi just tweeted. He's played 108 straight games without missing. So that definitely is a reason why the 49ers.
Since 2018.
Yeah. That's crazy. 108 straight games. Yeah.
And quite a few postseason games there for the Rams, too.
Actually, you said 2018. It says he hasn't missed a game since 2017.
Ah, okay.
That's a long time.
Including the 2018 season.
Yeah. Amazing.
Even better.
Yeah, that's exactly why you get a guy like that. Durability. So, you were on that. Literally a couple minutes later, I just see the tweet. So, boom, my man Ted's is right.
I mean, I just saw someone else tweet it.
It's all good. You were on it. You brought it up. You the man. You the GOAT.
All right,
let's go. This is it. But what do you think? Any bold predictions you got moving forward, Ted? What do you think? This is first day.
I'm still sticking on my Levante David. I sent you that post.
I know. I saw that.
Somebody thought that we might pick him up. I mean, he's not my favorite linebacker. Let's be clear. To pick up in the offseason, I just thought he made the most sense as far as still some tread on the tires, gas in the tank, whatever you want to call it. But he's a vet. He knows what the heck he's doing. And also he's getting up there in age enough where he might not be, against like, hey, I'll come in for a year while Dre kind of gets back up to speed. And once Dre's back to speed, I'll be happy to step aside. Whereas somebody like who I'd rather have, like, is it Patrick Queen? Is that the one from
Patrick Queen
from the Ravens playing with Roquan Smith? Like, that's probably my favorite inside linebacker if we could get him. But I think he's going to be more expensive, and I think he's going to want to be a starring role, more likely, or certainly not third fiddle if Dre does come back early. Yeah, and I agree with that. I feel the same way. Like, I would love to get, like a big name. Like I keep saying Aziz, like that's my guy, right? But it doesn't make sense when you have Dre Greenlaw, who will come back eventually, maybe by the start of the season. You don't know how effective he's going to be. Just like I said with Hufanga, you don't know how the players respond to those injuries initially. So you need to make sure you're insulated with a veteran. You need a veteran. They got some young linebackers, but are they good enough to replace Dre Greenlaw right away? I don't know. You got Fred Warner, so you don't need a elite linebacker. You got the best linebacker in the business. So you just need a guy that could come in and kind of make it easier for Greenlaw to get into his full form. So I agree. Levante David would be nice. I like it. I like the move. I would hope they sign him too. That's it. That would Aziz would be the best though, because he's already played in the system. That would be hands down the best. But I was saving that one for you because you said that when I first said Levante.
Oh yeah, I want him to get.
I wasn't going to step on you there and try and take him.
I want Aziz back, my boy. He broke down the huddle in in the playoffs with this team. He wasn't even on the team, and he's breaking down the huddle. Come on, that tells me how much he wants to be on this team. But
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And when we talk about Huff and Dre coming back in 2024, I mean, obviously Huff has a huge advantage because his happened in the Bucks game, which is week 11, and Dre's happened in the Super Bowl, which I guess effectively that's like week 22, right? You got wild card, divisional by 4 plus 18, week 22. So almost 3 months later than Hufanga's injury. So Huff's got a 3-month head start on Dre for healing and rehab and everything else. So you got to figure he's got a higher probability of being back or being back to himself sooner.
A little bit. ACLs, I mean, they're both really lengthy recoveries, but you're right. He should have a little bit more of a leg up, but both of them they're just tough injuries, man. Those are two massive injuries, and they really are banking on those guys to come back.
They're two of my deadly four, which are, ACL, Achilles for our guys. And then we've seen patellar. We saw that with Richburg, had the patellar tendon. He never came back.
That was rough.
And quad tear can be really bad too, above the patella. McGlinchey was a pretty amazing story that he actually came back from that and had in the second half of his contract year. I thought he was playing some of his best ball ever.
It wasn't horrible, but he definitely, over the full course of his career, it was kind of like you couldn't justify to keep for the amount of money Pittsburgh gave him.
No, not even close. No, I was more thinking like 12 million, not 17.5.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Even then, he didn't really play up to it last year. So
yeah, exactly. Oh man,
because it wasn't a contract year, Raj. That's why.
That's
why
it.
It's dangerous to sign people based on a contract year.
That's the thing. A lot of these guys, they go ball out. That maybe that's the one issue I'll have with the Leonard Floyd signing. He was on a contract year basically with the Bills. So it's kind of surprised. It wasn't surprised. It's kind of like, okay, he had his best season that he's had in a long time, 10.5 sacks, career high, and it was a contract year. So players turn up when they know they got to make that bag, Ted. Players turn up when they got to make that bag.
They do.
Then they kind of do a little disappearing act when they get their money.
Yeah. Houdini. For those old enough to remember.
Oh, we got breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen. The Panthers are trading star pass rusher Brian Burns to the Giants, according to Jordan Schultz. Woo! Giants are getting Brian Burns. Big trade, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Burns to the Giants. Oh my God!
If you had
hopes of Brian Burns to SF, take the dagger and shove it down your heart, because you're not getting Brian Burns. That is huge. Wow, the Giants are absolutely cooking today. Woo!
I think it's like Khalil Mack style, about 2 firsts and a third, something like that.
Wow.
When the Bears traded
they're trading him. They're signing him. Oh God. Okay, so here it is. Giants are finalizing a trade for the Panthers superstar pass rusher Brian Burns. According to Rap Sheet, they're signing him to a 5-year deal worth $150 million. 5 years, $150 million, and they're trading. So the trade, a second and a fifth round pick. That's not bad. A second and a fifth is not bad.
No,
but 5 years, $150 million. Niners weren't giving that up.
No way. Oh
wow.
Man,
what a day, ladies and gentlemen.
Second and a fifth. That's like Trent Williams territory where we do the third and a fifth.
That's a lot of money, yo. This is crazy. We got 338 people in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. Go check out my boy Ted's channel, Ted Talks Ball. It's been a fun hour so far. We got a lot of people in here, Ted. What do you want to say to everybody?
Hey, well, thanks for being here, and go Niners.
Go Niners. I think 87.5 million guaranteed. Holy good night, Sally. That's a lot of money.
Big.
That's a lot of money.
That's not much less than Chris Jones 95. That's true. That's big territory.
Yeah, it's 87.5 million guaranteed. 5 years, $150 million. Oh my God. That's a lot of money. Holy
He's
shit.
a great player, though.
He is a fantastic player. Wow. That's crazy. The New York, Matthew says, enjoy the New York taxes on that. Yeah. New York and California, two of the worst states in terms of taxes. Holy crap, man. Second and a fifth, huh?
Just have to move to Florida like Bosa and live there a little over half the year. I think that's
Yeah,
the trick.
and then you get the residency there. Brian Burns is now the second highest paid defensive end in the league, behind Nick Bosa. Speaking of, yeah, wow. What do you think? What do you guys think, Niner fans? We happy? Leonard Floyd?
A lot of people wanted Brian Burns, but I don't think that was ever realistic. I thought Danielle Hunter maybe was, but
yeah.
And Danielle Hunter still isn't signed, so
you never know. You never know. The media says check Nick Wagner. Let's see what Nick Wagner's got cooking over here. It says the NFL has updated the compensatory picks for this year's draft and recalculating the formula, but the 49ers did not end up with the second, third-round selection. Instead, the Bengals now have pick 97, and the third-round comp pick San Francisco sends to Washington is number 99 instead of 100. Wow.
Okay. Well, it's just interesting. Had that happened last week when we talked, though, where we figured out that the third-round comp pick for Jimmy G wasn't a third-round
It was a fourth, yeah. It was a fourth
because he got benched so much that dumb. Like, he just hosed us again, Jimmy. Thanks.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy.
I quote tweeted, I said, at least we'll never have to see him in the red and gold again. So that's
you would hope.
Yeah. Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Good night, Sally. Wow. What do you think? We lost. They recalculate. How can you recalculate the draft pick? Like, come on, man. That's kind of crazy. The NFL that's kind of devious. Honestly, that's a little devious. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
I'm not that worried about it because it's going to the Commanders anyway. So
yeah, that's true. But still, it's kind of weird that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy. I need the Niners to go make a splash. Maybe that's why I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
Holy.
No, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Allen, and Leonard Floyd. You could do worse.
You could do worse. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Free agency day one. What's your grade so far on free agency day one so far?
I'll go. I mean, if I'm nice, I'm saying B-, but I think it's more of a C+.
It's a C for me right now, Ted. It's a C for me. Let's see if things get better. I'm not saying it's bad, but we really haven't done much. We got Brandon Allen, Leonard Floyd. I like the Leonard Floyd move, but right now it's a C. So yeah.
I mean, the whole Eric Armstead thing. That's a kick in the teeth. Yeah, it is. That's a bummer. Regardless of his physical issues, it's just sad to lose him. Interesting too that he's. I put this in my thumbnail for the show, which was, the last of the pre-Shanahan, legacy players. There are no more players left on this team that were here before Kyle and John Lynch took over. It was. And you know what? The crazy thing about Armstead, like, he survived the transition. Not a lot of players. When a new coach comes over, a new regime comes over, GM, they usually gut the roster. Look at the Chargers. They're going to try to gut the roster. The Broncos, you want to get players that work for you. You want your system, right? And the Niners, they were gutting players. There was a very few amount of players that stuck over from the bulky, era. And Jimmy Ward, Arik Armstead, and Joe Staley were really among the guys that stuck around. And Armstead was like the last of the Mohicans. And Defoe for a minute, but then we then we got rid of him. Yeah. So it was crazy that the fact Tart. So there was a very few players that stuck around, and he was the last one, and they finally got rid of him. Yeah. You don't see that happening. You don't see players usually staying around regimes, and he did. They must have really liked him. Yeah, and again, just like Jimmy Ward, no one's hitting the decade mark as a 49er either, which is kind of sad to see. But maybe some of these guys that are Shanahan, Lynch era, they'll show a little more loyalty to these guys. We'll see. Well, I mean, I think the guys, the bulky bunch, we'll call them. But I think the bulky bunch. I honestly think, though, that's what the 49ers have done to their guys that they've drafted, like their homegrown guys. They pay them. They reward them. It takes them a little bit, but they pay them. Like Fred Warner, George Kittle,
Nick Bosa, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk next. They've paid those guys very handsomely. They gave Dre Greenlaw 2 years ago a contract extension. And so if they like the guy, if they drafted him, they try to make him return. There have been a few guys that they couldn't, DJ Jones, there's just certain players that they couldn't. But for the most part, majority of the guys that they've drafted and have done well, they bring them back.
That's how we got to bring DJ Jones back. Got to get him back in the fold. Come home, DJ.
Come back, DJ.
Come home.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been an interesting first day of free agency, though, Ted, and I think it's just going to get even crazier. We haven't even scratched the surface. I feel like the Niners got a lot more cooking. Crock pot cooking, baby.
Love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Any final thoughts here and there? I think we've been on for about 55 minutes. I think we'll wrap up. Any final thoughts? I mean, my favorite part of the day so far was Leonard Floyd, but then they topped me with the Juwan Jennings. I'm happy for Juwan Jennings because I don't think the Niners are going to lose him now that we get the second round tender. So I think that's a dub for the day. But overall, it is a C because I think they still need another defensive lineman to replace Armstead.
Yeah, absolutely. Or two, right? Maybe just some depth. They don't have to be as big of a star, but, D-line is all about fresh legs. So, if you get two guys that aren't quite as good, but can still keep each other fresh, then they could end up having a better performance than Eric plus some sort of scrub being his backup or his depth behind him.
Absolutely. I agree. We'll see what happens. Ted, we'll be back next Monday, most likely. Maybe if we got time, we'll go and try to get another one of these going this week. But I'll be live a little later if we get more breaking news. We'll be live all day if we get breaking news. I'll probably be on IG later. I'm excited. Hopefully Niners can make some more splashes because these fans are foaming at the mouth for some picks now. So we'll see what happens. You guys have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you for hopping on, Ted. Make sure you guys go follow my boy Ted. Click on his channel and follow my guy. You guys have a good rest of your day. Go Niners. Let's go, baby.
Peace. Let's go Niners.